Hello, welcome to our flipped classroom lesson for today around the text The Rabbits. You will have seen this text a number of times already, but today our focus for our lesson will be making connections between this text, and a historical event or historical events plural. Um, You'll be able to, at any point throughout this video, if you need to, you can pause or go back if you need to do so. So it's pretty much a self-guided lesson for you today. Now, the way that we're going to make these connections is by, as you can look at the success criteria, identifying connections between events in the text and real world events, and using evidence from the text and from your own knowledge of world events to support your connections. So here we've got the text, the rabbits. Obviously, I'm not reading it. It's read by somebody on YouTube. I'm going to let you have a listen to this text again so that you have it fresh in your mind. I know, so that you can make these connections. So here we go.
Hey guys, this is Steven.
And Tim, and this book is dedicated to Max W., Alex, and Robbie. We thought this book would be a good choice because we know that all three of you are very creative and interesting, just like this book is.
The Rabbits by Marsden and Shaun. The rabbits came many grandparents ago. At first we didn't know what to think. They looked a bit like us. There weren't many of them, and some were friendly. But our old people warned us, be careful. They won't understand the right ways. They only know their own country. More rabbits came. They came by water. They didn't live in the trees like we did. They made their own houses. We couldn't understand the way they talked. They brought new food, and they brought other animals. We liked some of the food, and we liked some of the animals, but some of the food made us sick, and some of the animals scared us. The rabbits spread across the country. No mountain could stop them, no desert, no river. Still more of them came. Sometimes we had fights, but there were too many rabbits. We lost the fights. They ate our grass. They chopped down our trees and scared away our friends. And stole our children. Rabbits, rabbits, rabbits. Millions and millions of rabbits. Everywhere we look, there are rabbits. The land is bare and brown, and the wind blows empty across the plains. Where is the rich, dark earth, brown and moist? Where is the smell of rain dripping from the trees? Where are the lakes, alive with long-legged birds? Who will save us from the rabbits?
So as you can see there, that was the reading of the text, The Rabbits by somebody on YouTube. So that should give you an idea of what the text is about. Now, we've had a discussion before about how we see the messages that are coming across from the author John Marsden and the illustrator Shaun. So what I want you to look at today is what real life events this reminds you of. So it should have reminded you something to do with in terms of what we've looked at so far in the last couple of weeks. Definitely something to do with Indigenous Australians and the Reconciliation Day and the Stolen Generations and things like that. It definitely did for me. So I would put in this area the real world area of our iLink strategy, which we have used a number of times before, that it reminds me of, that the real world event that it reminds me of is the First Fleet arriving in Australia. And the event from the text that it reminds me of is the early part of the text, where if you look at the video, it talks
All
about...
three of you are very creative and interesting.
Let's go here.
At first we didn't know.
About the grandparents coming a long time ago, or many grandparents ago, the rabbits coming. And the thing that I know already from my prior knowledge is that rabbits are actually an introduced species. So think about the fact that when the British came here, they were not native to this land, whereas the indigenous people were. So you've got these rabbits, which are introduced species. Ironically, one of the animals introduced when the British people came to Australia were rabbits. And yet, here we go, we're telling a story about the rabbits. So I could say this reminds me of when the ships arrived with the people. What did they have in common? What do these two events, the one in the book and the one in real life, have in common? Alright? And that would make what our connection to the text would be. So I want you to have a think about not only that event, but other events throughout the book. You can go back in this video and have a look at the text again, the rabbits again, and try to find several events that you can make connections to, real world events. Alright? So you want to make connections between the events in the text and events in the real world and explain what they have in common. Now this section here, as we've seen before in other cases, that is what is going to make the connection with the text. Alright, and I want you to write those down in your reading books, and I will be checking those during the first opportunity that I get to. So once you've done that, please have a discussion with the people that you're working with your groups as well, because you want to make sure, not to make sure necessarily that you're on the right track. Obviously you do want to do that, but make sure that you're not just seeing it from one point of view. You'll find that multiple people will see it in different ways. And you'll find even if they see things in the same way, there'll be different clues that people will look at first to help justify their thinking. And that's really, really important as well. So have a think about that and create some connections using the iLink tool between the rabbits, events in the rabbits, and events in the real world, and then start to think about what these events, whether individually or all together, have in common. Alright, thank you.